Hi there, Marcus here. Nice to see you all again. Thanks for touching down on me, all those that did. Some of you may have seen the post that I'm doing when I'm talking about making a piece of fine marquetry by only using MDF. So I'm going to convert MDF into a beautiful piece of artistic furniture. And in these videos that I'm going to be creating, I'm going to be showing how I do that so that you can learn from that, so you can see how it's done. Okay? Now let's have a look at this. It's not very hard. This piece of MDF was pre-cut by a company, like a hardware store. All I did was give them a cutting list and said, you need to be very precise. So there's an underside, there's a top, and there's two sides, and there's a middle. And it allows you to put your remote controls, your magazines, your books inside, as you might say, and use it as well as like use it for, you know, like let's say snacks and drinks and wine and coffee, etc. Okay. So I saw this design, which was AI generated, when I was doing my research, and I took to it. I thought that looks quite an interesting design. I like that. So with that said and done, I went out to actually make it, and I thought, what a great example of how you can apply veneer to something as simple as MDF and transform that into a very decorative and fine example of furniture by using a few secret techniques. Okay, the size of this tabletop has been used, I've used golden section, so it's proportionately correct. The height is basically where I want it. It's not too high. Now coffee tables, the heights do vary, but for me this is what I wanted. Okay, it's enough for me to put my drinks on, if I want to put my feet on, relax and enjoy it as a visual entity within the living environment. When I look at a coffee table, there's two things that I like to address or focus on. One of them is the top, the shape of the top, and also the legs. Now, some people would just put wooden blocks on or wooden legs on or whatever. For me, the design of the leg is extremely important. Now with this particular design, I've got marquetry going on. Now you might think, what are you going on about? You know, just put some marquetry on it, you'll be fine. But what people forget is, in the same way as you've got a dining table, like a coffee table, sometimes the leg is actually hidden underneath the tabletop itself. And therefore, if I'm going to spend hours and hours decorating it with marquetry, some of that area won't actually be seen. And therefore I could be spending hours and hours on something that essentially won't be seen unless you get on your hands and knees, or if you're a long distance away, like in a gallery or an exhibition or a showroom where you've got a lot more space. But the average people who sit next to a coffee table sit relatively close. And when you sit close to something, the angle that you're looking down on will actually hide some of that design. And that's what I'm doing in this particular experiment here. I'm actually showing you what I did and what I've done. So I've laid out my table, I put a piece of wood behind, and then I've got to a position where I've sat down, and then I can actually project a line on that, which shows me that anything above that will not be seen in the normal sitting conditions. And therefore, it allows me to actually see what space I've got left over that I can transform into a particular design of leg that will allow me to actually decorate in marquetry. So for me, this is one of the early stages in the design process of doing a coffee table. And that's the reason why I thought I would do this first, is to show you one of the tricks that I do when I'm designing and I'm making coffee tables. Something that some people forget is that thing that isn't seen. And why should I spend a tremendous amount of time on something that essentially nobody will look at? And therefore it allows me to focus on the things that people will see and to make it more decorative and highlight it better. So this is one of the first videos on the beginning of the coffee table design, in which I'll be showing stage by stage how I go about doing this. And while I'm doing it, I'll be showing in my course the design, why I chose that design, the choices that I had, and why I come to that conclusion. So it's a long process that I'll be making this. I'll be taking you all stage by stage. If I make mistakes, you'll see why I made them. And a good thing about a good craftsman is not only the fact that he can actually do a good job, but if he does make mistakes, a good craftsman knows how to fix them. And if I do make mistakes, I'm going to talk you through the process, how I remedy it. So if you make the same mistake, you at least know how to solve it. Now, hopefully, fingers crossed, if you're thinking ahead, I shouldn't be making these sort of mistakes, if any do exist. But I want to be open and honest and say, look, you're enjoying the journey. See you in the next video.